What are the pros and cons of living in Orlando, Florida in 2024? Well, we're going to talk about that in this video. My name is Andrew Sweet. I'm your Orlando real estate advisor. And guys, if you're thinking about moving to Orlando now or anytime in the future, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or email me at liveinorlandofl@gmail.com. Guys, make sure to like, subscribe, press that notification bell, and make sure to stay to the very, very end of the video because I have some really good news that I want to share with you. All right, guys, so pro number one of living in Orlando, Florida is pretty obvious, and that's our entertainment scene. There is so much to do here. You're never going to run out of things to do. We have Disney, we have Universal, Busch Gardens is very, very close. Legoland is super close as well. The beaches are really close. So while those things aren't in Orlando, you have easy access to those things. I mean, to get to the beach, you can get to the beach in an hour, depending on where in Orlando you live. Orlando also has a really cool nature scene. So that's another form of entertainment. If you're into hiking, fishing, jet skiing, boating, anything like that. You know, we have so many lakes around the area and just access to all of those things. And you're just never going to run out of things to do, as well as our sports teams. We have some awesome sports teams here in Orlando, Orlando City soccer team, Orlando Magic, and just so many other fun activities right here in Orlando, Florida for you to enjoy, to entertain you. I mean, that's the perk of living in a tourist destination, right? You just have so much to do. And it's definitely a pro of living here in Orlando, Florida. The second pro of living in Orlando, Florida is going to be the warm climate. And guys, I can't express enough how nice this is. Yes, it does get super hot during the summer, and that'll probably appear down on the cons list. But guys, the warm weather during the winter is amazing. While everybody else is freezing, you know, and it's snowing and they're freezing cold and they're in heavy jackets, lots of the time you can still go to the beach. It's just amazing. And we do hit this period of during the winter and kind of the fall, spring months where it's just a beautiful temperature of, you know, low 70s, high 60s. And it's awesome. I do enjoy, you know, being able to put on something like this, like a sweater or sweatshirt. But guys, having a warmer climate pretty much year round is really a blessing, and it's definitely a pro of living here in Orlando, Florida. The third pro of living in Orlando, Florida is going to be the job market. The job market here in Orlando is absolutely fueled by the tourist industry. You know, Disney and Universal, especially Disney, is like the number one employer in the state, but especially here in Orlando, it's kind of like the lifeblood. Pretty much everyone you meet will at least have one person in their family that works at Disney. But that's not the only job markets that are thriving here. Tourism isn't the only thing. There's also the technology industry is booming here, as well as the healthcare industry. All of these things are seeing a significant increase in job opportunities, and it's definitely something to think about when you're planning to make your move here to Orlando, Florida. The final pro of living in Orlando, Florida is going to be the quality of education that we have here. And yes, that applies to your elementary schools, your middle schools, and your high schools. We also have a lot of private school opportunities for those grades as well. But even beyond that, what I'm talking about is once you get even higher than grade school and you get into college, we have UCF. UCF is a great school. It's one of the largest universities in the entire country. They have an especially amazing engineering program. But we also have Valencia College. Valencia was a community college until not too long ago. It is now a full 4-year college. And I can tell you from experience that Valencia College is a fantastic, fantastic place to get your college education. There's also a program where you can go to Valencia for 2 years and then transfer into UCF. It's just a great opportunity for people that maybe don't have as much money and they can't afford 4 years of full university. Valencia's right there, and it's such a great option. And so, guys, education, there's great quality education here in Orlando, Florida, right on your doorstep. Now let's get into the cons of living in Orlando, Florida. And con number one is going to be the increasing real estate prices. So Orlando has just seen an absolute boom of people moving here for the past couple of years. It started in COVID. People just started flooding in, and it really hasn't stopped. It's definitely slowed down a little bit, just as the market has slowed down in general. But guys, homes here are increasing in price, and it doesn't seem to be really any end to that. The median home price right now in Central Florida is about $415,000, and that's just for a resale single-family home. I've watched communities increase in price drastically over the last couple of years. So that would definitely be a con of living in Orlando, Florida, unless you already own a home, of course, because then your home has just seen an increase in value. But definitely a con and something to think about when moving to Orlando, Florida. The second con of living in Orlando, Florida is definitely going to be the traffic. Traffic can get very congested here in Orlando due to the amount of tourists. And also, just to be completely honest, roads were not built well here. There was just something was wrong when they were planning out the infrastructure of the roadways. And there's just something about Orlando and some of the suburbs. It's like they just get so busy, especially with the amount of people that have been moving here throughout the years. So not only is the population increasing, but also we have the tourist industry. So during those busier seasons, depending on where you live, if you live closer to the attractions, you're absolutely going to see an increase in traffic, especially around those major, work is starting and work is ending hours of the day. The final con of living in Orlando, Florida is definitely the weather. Now, the weather can also be, like I said earlier, the weather is also a pro, but of course, it's a two-sided coin, right? So the other side of that is that during the summer, it gets extraordinarily hot, super hot. And alongside the heat isn't even the worst part. It's the humidity. It can get so humid here. Your hair starts to frizz. You feel like you're sweating as soon as you step outside. It's almost like you're breathing underwater sometimes. It's definitely a con of living here. Another thing to think about is that we are at risk for hurricanes here in Orlando, Florida. It's not nearly as bad here as in places along the coast or like in Miami. Usually, by the time the hurricane hits us, it's kind of just a severe storm, but it's still a present threat, and it's something we all live with. I've never seen anything serious happen, but it just depends on where you move. Most areas in Orlando, you're really not going to see an issue with that, but there are some. So it's just something to keep in mind is that hurricanes are real. They exist. It's something we deal with. Life goes on. But it's just something to think about. It's definitely a con, as well as the heat and the humidity when living here in Orlando. Okay, guys, those were just a couple pros and cons of living in Orlando, Florida in 2024. Keep in mind, there's many more pros and there's many more cons, and they're pretty much all subjective. It just depends really on your situation and your personal experience. So comment down below if you have any more pros and cons that can help people out, because there's a lot that I did not mention. I'm going to try to get around to those at some time. But guys, if you're thinking about moving to Orlando or any of the surrounding suburbs like Windermere, Winter Garden, Claremont, Ocoee, anything like that, Kissimmee, make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, or email me at liveinorlandofl@gmail.com. Guys, please subscribe, like the video, press the notification bell so that you can see my videos as soon as I post them and you can stay up to date on the Orlando market and just stay for a little bit longer. I just have some good news that I want to share with you. All right, guys, if this is your first time to the channel, every single video I post at the very end, it's going to have some good news. It's either just going to be me talking about Jesus, who is the most important thing in my entire life. Jesus is the purpose of my life. He's the most important thing in my life, following him. But today I'm going to read from the ESV Bible, Psalm 29, verse 6 through 9. Here we go. Blessed be the Lord, for he has heard the voice of my pleas for mercy. The Lord is my strength and my shield. In him my heart trusts, and I am helped. My heart exults, and with my song I give thanks to him. The Lord is the strength of his people. He is the saving refuge of his anointed. Oh, save your people and bless your heritage. Be their shepherd and carry them forever. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you in the next video.